What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Equip Live. My name is Will. I'll be your host today. And it's good to be back. I feel like it's been a long time, but it's actually been only like a week. So time just flies when you're super busy. How's everybody doing? Good to see you all. What's up, Gordon? So, since we are waiting for everybody to roll in, as always, it seems like it usually takes about 5 minutes or so. But thank you for those of you who are on time. Let's go over some of the basics that we always go over. So, first things first, let's talk about my setup. Today, I am using a Mivo Start as usual, although I'm going to start switching it up a little bit. So, maybe next week or even Thursday, I'll bust out the stream cam. We'll mess around with some of those blue mics up there. So, we'll have fun switching it up. What's going on, Fred? What's up, Les? How you doing? And then for audio, as always, I've been using the Blue Baby Bottle microphone, which is real solid. It sounds really great. I like it a lot. And then, of course, for lighting, I'm using two Lytra glows on either side of me, which obviously do a great job. So I'm really happy with that as well. Let's see. Let's talk about the show schedule real quick. We're live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But this is actually something that I want to talk to you guys about. So we'll get into that a little bit later in the day. But keep in mind the schedule for the show and when you're available, because we're thinking about maybe switching up the time or the days that we're live to try and get more viewers. You can find us on youtube.com/Logitech for creators, twitch.tv/Logitech C, and facebook.com/Mivo camera. Although we always are pushing everybody over to Twitch for the best experience, both in quality and community. So head on over to Twitch if you're not there already. Also, we have a user testing program, and I see actually a bunch of you that are part of the program and that we've already started working with. And if you're not part of the program, I definitely recommend taking a screenshot of this image or copying over that link. You can also take a picture of that QR code just really easily on your phone, and that'll send you there as well. And then last but not least, we have the Host React show coming up. And I'm not sure who it is next. I think it might be Les. We're going to have to play around with everybody, seeing what everybody submitted and see if there's enough to get somebody on the next show. But if you haven't already sent your setup or your content over to Host React, we would love to help promote your content and give you any kind of advice that we can think of. But so far, you guys have honestly been nailing it. Like, all the content that you've submitted has been top notch. So I think the best part about the Host React shows is just that we get to kind of get good ideas from those that are sharing their setup and their content. Because I think that there has been a lot of really good ideas for gear, good ideas about how to create content and all that kind of stuff. So definitely submit your setup and your content if you haven't already to Host React. All right. Gordon in the house. Fred, what is up? Laser less. Man, we got all the regulars are in here. That's great. Let's see. C-Bus Sports Radio. What is up? Welcome back. What's going on, Janked? Nice of you to be here. Jared, what's going on? What's cracking? Test flight. Test flight is great. Interestingly, though, if you haven't tested software, it seems to be easier to use Firebase, which is Androids versus TestFlight, which is a little bit iffy. What is up, Nasya? Good to see you. I'm doing good. It's really hot, but doing good. Good to see everybody chatting it up. Ryan in the house. What's going on? Cool. So, oftentimes we're asked is there anything new? And there is something new that Joe and I are going to have to demo when we're both together. But I do want to share this because it is really cool. And we'll talk about it a little bit. So right here, Melon just released this new feature. And I think this applies to everybody that's streaming, whether it is if you're using the Mivo or if you're using just a webcam like the Stream Cam. This is really, really cool. So we talk a lot about Melon because we use Melon to do this show. It's by far the best way that we have found to bring in multiple guests and have everything remain synced up still. So, we tried other services and programs and stuff like that, and we would have kind of audio and video out of sync. We would have dropouts. We'd have pixelation. And Melon just really solved all of those problems for us. And it's been really, really great. On top of that, we really recommend Melon because it's cool that it can all be on the web versus, if you're using Streamlabs desktop, you kind of need a more powerful computer. But since Melon is all on the web, everything from moving graphics, playing videos, moving cameras, doing all this stuff, this is all done in the web browser. So we really, really like using Melon. And there's been this one feature that we've been wanting to see for a very long time, and that is co-host. So this is finally in Melon. We're really excited about this. And the cool thing about this is that if you have multiple people joining your channel, oftentimes it'll be just a guest and you're just interviewing them. And so in that case, you don't want to give them control. But if you have 3 people in your chat, or you have 2 people that are both from the same team, same company, then now you can have one person controlling everything, and then another person controlling another aspect of it. So when Joe and I do this, we have chat that's flying in. We want to play videos. We want to put up overlays. And for one person to do that, you have to do a lot of jumping around. And it's not as smooth, right? So we asked a long time ago if we could have one of us do part of the controls and then another one of us doing another part of controls, so we can kind of split the workload, and then everything's just much smoother and easier. And so they finally came out with this, and it's a little bit small. So let me blow it up a little bit here. But now you can invite co-hosts to your team. You can actually invite, I think, up to 5 people. 5 people on your team, and they can switch the camera angles. They can switch cameras in general. They can pull up chat and do stuff like that, just putting chat on screen. And so this is really cool for people that maybe you have one person that's on location with the camera, right? So you have one person, they're setting up the camera, they bring it into Melon, and then you have another person that's completely remote. Like they could be at home, they could be at the office, and they can do all of the camera switching and editing and live cuts and whatnot, all from their computer. So you don't need to have one person do everything, which is kind of huge, right? So I'm really excited to play with this and test this out. It's something that just came out, I think, like 2 or 3 days ago. But it's pretty sweet, to be honest with you. Yeah, it'll really help produce this show, and I honestly think it'll help produce lots and lots of shows. And a lot of times, you'll have, especially if you're doing podcasts, right? You'll have one person come in to Melon, another guest, maybe another person is a host, but the host needs to pay attention to the guest and have that conversation. So if you're able to have somebody else that's controlling the actual like content of the stream, then you can do a lot. I mean, I know most of you are Mivo users, so imagine having one person that like is setting up the Mivos, and then another person that is controlling the Multicam app, and like another person can do graphics or something like that. Like it really, really helps make things smooth because you're splitting the workload with a bunch of different people. So it's pretty sweet. I'm pretty hyped about it. Have any of you tested out Melon? I know a lot of you have asked questions and have been interested in Melon, but I'm curious if any of you have actually tested it out because it is free to try, and you can actually do pretty much everything with the free version, but it is obviously much better with the paid version. Nasia is saying that's a solid feature. I'm a big fan. Right? It's pretty sick. So as always, today is Tuesday, so it's Q&A day. So if you have any questions at all, whether it's with your live streaming setup or your recording production or anything like that, please put those in chat and we'll get to those very shortly. Let's see. 72 and cloudy. It sounds nice. Honestly, I think it's like 90 here and brutally sunny. Let's see. You got to give it a try, Les. Honestly, there's a lot of really cool things that are part of the Streamlabs ecosystem that you probably didn't even know are part of the Streamlabs ecosystem. I think a lot of people don't even know all the different companies that are part of the Logitech ecosystem. But yeah, Streamlabs is great because they're working on every kind of aspect of creating content and being a content creator in general, right? So like they have Streamlabs, which lets you stream directly from your desktop and do like really cool animations and overlays and videos and all that stuff. They've got Melon, which is like a kind of a scaled down version of that, but based on the web that actually has a lot of features Streamlabs doesn't. And then there's Oslo, which is kind of like a video editing, and there's Willow, which you can see down there, which is one link for all of your links, which is really nice. And then there's Crossclip, which is good for creating content, like bite-sized content out of much bigger content. So they're really kind of covering every angle. It's pretty cool. Let's see. So speaking of Streamlabs, actually, I just saw they were at VidCon, I guess, what was it, over the weekend? And that seems really cool. I don't know. Did any of you go to those kind of big conferences, whether it's like Comic-Con or VidCon or E3? Actually, I don't know if E3 is open to the public still, but you know, these big conferences, I have gone to almost all of them. And it is cool if you're a guest and you're just like walking around enjoying things. But if you're going to produce a live show, it's a nightmare. Like I did a live show at Comic-Con and it was like I was there working for Justin TV at the time and I was filming something for Lionsgate and it was Saw like 4 or something like that. And so we were on the floor of Comic-Con, which means you're like surrounded by like 10,000 people. And then of course it was like a live reveal of the trailer for Saw 3 or 4 or something like that. And it was a nightmare. Like this trailer had to go live at a very specific time because if it because it was a trailer premiere that was both on location in Comic-Con and online. So it had to do a live interview that ends at a very specific time to play the trailer both online and in person. And when you're surrounded by like 10,000 people that are choking the internet, it's very difficult. Let's see. Going on a random story. Les saying he Streamlabs for part of my streaming. Nice. What aspect of your streaming do you use Streamlabs for? Do you do it for graphics or camera switching or any of the like overlays and widget features of Streamlabs. There's a lot of really cool stuff, honestly. So it could be a lot. Not a big question, but an update. My last stream, I had one camera that would not connect no matter what I did, even factory reset. Let's see. So I'm talking. I assume you're talking about Mivo into multicam. I don't. I were you like on location? Were you at home? Were you at an office? Um, were you using hotspot mode? Were you using Wi-Fi? Give me a little bit more details, and hopefully I can help you around. Been to CES a few times. I've only been to CES once, and I feel like CES is just like Comic-Con. It's just like jam-packed with people, and doesn't smell good, typically. I recently moved to a rugged case for my iPad Pro 11-inch M1. I ran into some heating issues that led to disconnecting the Mivo starts to the Multicam app. Mivos were set to record when the connection was lost. Question: can you reconnect to Mivo starts while they are still recording? Yeah, yeah, totally. If you're doing ISO recording, um, it should continue to record, and then you should be able to reconnect. Um, but are you talking about heating issues with your iPad Pro or with a specific Mivo? Because your iPad Pro should not be overheating unless you're using like 6+ Mivos. Nazi is saying, no, unfortunately, I'm allergic to heat and crowded places. Maybe I'll go to one of these events some days. I got to tell you, so am I. I'm very much allergic to heat and crowded places. So it's rough. And yeah, most of these events I am going to live stream, like whether they're CES or Comic-Con or whatever it is. Like I've done E3 also. What else? TED. I've done TED. So like all of these live streaming in general is stressful. Actually, just like being at the event is like the least stressful part, even though it's very stressful. I went to Comdex. I don't even know Comdex. What is Comdex? 12 years in a row. That is a very long time. Until they stopped doing the show. And yes, no cell service. Yeah. It's rough. Jank knows what's up. Heat is no fun ever. Sun bad. Facts, man. Oh my god. Multicam, Wi-Fi on location, 2 starts, 2 plus, and one of the pluses would not connect. Oh, so it was a plus that wasn't connecting? Yeah. I mean, the thing with pluses is like they're really starting to be on the older end of things, and so, you know, them not working is not a total shock to me. It's much easier to use starts for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, normally when things are not connecting, it's either a Wi-Fi issue or it's just an issue of like disconnecting and reconnecting several times. But it sounds like you did that and you even did a factory reset and it wouldn't connect. So I don't know. I would reach out to support to see if they can do any tests on that plus to see if it's still having issues. Another thing I would do is test to see if it's connecting like on different Wi-Fi or in hotspot mode. Like really try and rule a lot of issues out. Cuz like if it's only happening at that one location, then it's probably based on like the Wi-Fi at that location. Maybe it's interference. Could be a lot of different things, but if it's happening every time that you use the plus, then it's likely hardware related. I should tell more of these random stories. I have a lot of stories. Like when you're live streaming in the beginning of live streaming, there's like no competition, right? So like when I was working at Justin TV, I was doing these big events like the ones I was talking about, and I was doing like early on in live streaming, it was mainly used for like the public to chat with celebrities. So I would do like red carpets for movies, like one-on-one live streams with like who was it, Demi Lovato and like some basketball players. Like I can't even remember. So yeah, there's lots and lots of stories that I could tell that we'll have to get to for sure. iPad Pro was overheating. It was a 90-degree day. That's still crazy. Like iPad Pros should not be overheating, even if it is 90 degrees. I mean, maybe if it was like sitting out in the sun, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's definitely not from the Multicam app though, unless you were doing like 6 Mivos. I've only done GameCon. Is that the one that you just went to and you were talking about with your friend? Or is that a different one that you're going to in the future? E3. E3 was cool before it started. So like we set up the live stream like a couple days ahead of the actual E3 event. And so like everybody was setting up their booths and like testing their demos and stuff like that. So I got to like walk around and see all the stuff way before it was announced, and that was cool. But then like once the event starts, then it just turns into another Comic-Con where it's just like a flood of people. Gordon saying, Will, I've read the 2.4 gigahertz is more crowded and therefore more potential interference. You're not wrong. Um, Although I think it's starting to get more into 5 gigahertz is more crowded. It's probably not there yet, but everything is starting to go over to 5 gigahertz as like just like the bare minimum. So right now, 2.4, solid, um, but probably not for long. Let's see. Jeff saying, I see YouTube is now offering 4K. Do you think that's not the next evolution for Mivo? And will 4K help our existing video at all? So I know YouTube does 4K, and I think it actually might go higher than that now. Um, but it's interesting in terms of like when you're watching recorded content versus live streaming content. We've certainly talked a lot about this in the show because a lot of people have asked us for 4K in the Mivo Start, which only does 1080p. And the real reason is that not a lot of people are watching live streams in 4K. Do I think this is going to change? Yeah, absolutely. But right now, 1080p is more than enough. Um, I think people have a lot of issues streaming in 4K also because you need a lot more bandwidth. Like right now, we recommend 10 megabytes per second or megabits per second upload, and a lot of people have difficulty even with that. So if you're doing 4K, then you need maybe like 15 or 20, which is a lot for a lot of people. So yeah, I think 4K is great. More resolution means that you can punch in and still have really high quality. Do I think it's necessary or even used a lot? Not so much. Is 5 gigahertz recommended for Wi-Fi? Uh, yeah. I mean, most Wi-Fi routers or hubs or whatever, they're sending out both 2.4 band and 2 and 5 band. But yeah, I mean, 5 is faster. Heat equals bad. Yeah, facts. Network systems admin approves of this statement. Yeah, I feel you. I am very much not young. I am ancient, but Comdex is definitely outside of my knowledge base. Largest computer show starting in the 1979. That's cool. So that's probably where like Apple was first unveiled. The what is it? Apple, the one without the screen. Let's see. Sounds like you've dealt with a bunch of famous people. That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, a fair amount, but it's like a very short interaction. It's like, okay, this is a camera. Look right here. They're gonna see you. Like even when I'm dealing with like celebrities or athletes or something like that, like it's still dealing more with the tech than it is the person. Let's see. Oh, so it's a different one in Texas. GameCon is in Germany. That's pretty sick. I went right after I got back from my deployment. Reward to myself. It was super cool. Nice. Is that all tech or just computers or just gaming? Is that like the E3 of Germany? Let's see. Darren in the house. What is up, man? Thanks for joining us. This is a good point. Philip saying Wi-Fi 5G may be limited in reach compared to 2G, 2.4. Yeah, certainly possible. Mivo, I assume this is Mivo mic is too loud. You can adjust the levels, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I love that almost everybody is on Twitch. Like I enjoy watching the conversation. Yeah, so it's another shout out to Twitch. If you haven't already moved over to Twitch, definitely do that. And also if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do that. Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch. It helps us out. It also helps us like get a better idea of where the show is and what's working, what's not working, how to create like the best content, etc. So definitely give us likes, give us follows, all that stuff. I see. So Jared is saying the lowest Mivo mic level is not 0 and the lowest setting is not low enough. So you want it to go even lower than it's already going? That's interesting. I haven't really like put Mivo mic to the stress test. So I don't know if it has any kind of limitation from going to 0, but that's definitely something we'll look at, and I'll mention that to the Mivo team. We can check it out. Okay, yeah, it is basically like E3. Nice. Very nice. All right. You're flying through. What is up, Ambitones? How's it going? Thanks for joining us. It's interesting, like, we've had this talk internally, but it seems like this show viewership kind of like everybody starts to come in more around like halfway through. So it kind of makes me wish that the show was longer because I think most people are used to streams being significantly longer than an hour, right? So like when people are coming into the stream and they're coming in like halfway, and that's like where it peaks is like halfway into 75% in. Let's see. Gordon's saying can you not mute Mivo mic? You should be able to mute Mivo mic both in the multicam app and in the single camera app. Picks up too much. If you're gonna give me a mixer for my Mivo mic, then give me one that works. I need to be able to reduce Mivo mic to completely off. I mean, you should be able to just mute it, right? Like, can't you just mute it? What is up? Tesla live cam, Bahamas in the house. Man, I'm jealous. Sounds real nice. Yeah, definitely. We appreciate all the feedback. I think you might be missing a setting because you should be able to drag it all the way down or just mute it completely. So yeah. So you don't want to mute it, but you don't want it to bring in audio. You can also change around your mic, right? So if you're using a different mic, you can always just adjust it on the mic. So, um, yeah, facts. Jank, good pointing that out. If you're really stuck and you're just having a difficult time explaining the issue, then definitely head over to help.mivo.com and open up a ticket, and somebody can really dive into it with you and try and figure out exactly what's going on. It always helps when you submit media and all that stuff. So definitely submit as much as you can in that initial ticket, and they'll be able to help you much faster. Let's see. When streaming with Multicam and 3 Mivo starts, does the audio being streamed come only from the current displaying Mivo or all three like surround sound? So it's definitely not like surround sound, but you can have audio coming from any of them or all of them no matter what Mivo is active. So say you're using 3 Mivos and you want to use the video from only one Mivo, but you want to use the audio from all three or from two, you can do that. So you can just mix and match whatever you want to do. It's a good question though. All right. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people are giving you a lot of solutions, but it seems like you're having some difficulty uh, finding a solution. So definitely head over to help.miva.com, open up a ticket, and they'll be able to help you out. Cool. Let's see. We are halfway through. We are burning through these questions. So I'm curious. I was talking about it a little bit in the beginning of the show, right? Where I was talking about the schedule. And I was asking you guys to think about your schedule and the show schedule and if it works for you or not. So we're trying to figure out if we should combine the two shows and just have one show a week that's just kind of jam packed with content and demos and answering questions and all that stuff. Or do you like it that it's two shows a week? Let us know. It seems like, especially in the summer, we kind of have a little bit of a dip in terms of the amount of engagement that we have. And we want to make sure that each show is honestly just jam packed with a lot of interesting information, useful information, and also it's just fun in general, right? So we're looking at like, should we test out different days, different times? Should we combine it into one show? And I'm just curious what you guys think. Is this a good time slot for the week? Would you rather have one show? Do you like the two shows? Do different days work better? Definitely let me know because I'd really like to figure out just kind of like the best situation for everybody. Les is saying he likes two shows a week. Yeah, if you can't make one, you'll make the other. That's a good point. That's a good point. Question coming in from Facebook. Coming in the next Mivo Multicam release. The next one is coming fairly soon, I think, but we're gonna have to wait to tell you about what it is. As soon as we can, I promise you we will. We'll probably be able to talk about the next update to the Multicam app a little bit earlier than when it's released. So that'll be fun. But unfortunately, right now we don't have any info. Another vote for two shows and another one. Yep. Laserless saying we should try a nighttime show. That is, it's something that I've thought about. The tricky thing is because it is like a company show, then we need to explain to Logitech that like we're working on our off hours and they may not want that. So it's definitely something that I would like to test, but I don't know if we have that ability. Extend both shows by 30 minutes. Honestly, I kind of want to do this, but it's another thing that's tricky, right? Like, if we have no limitations on how long the show is, then there can be a lot of like dead air, and it really depends on like the viewership, right? If we have a stream that is with like 100 people or more, then having a longer stream is great because we have nonstop questions, we have nonstop engagement, and different things to talk about. But if it's not a huge show, then making it longer is tricky. But in terms of like engagement, we tend to get more halfway through, so it does make sense. Yeah, maybe we need to just try it. Um, I cannot always make it if I have a gig. Money before pleasure. I feel you, man. Money all the way. But if you're streaming, you're probably enjoying that for money and pleasure. So it's a good thing about being in the streaming industry. Nasi is saying, I'm okay with one show if that's full of good demos and cool info and announcement. I'm all about quality. Yeah, it's a solid point. Ooh, chat is jumping. When will we be able to use Multicam app on NDI? That's a great question. I think in the relatively near future, it's something that we have on our list of things that we want to do. It is like a really big undertaking to have NDI in and out into the Multicam app, but it is definitely on our list of things we're gonna do, and it's on our website. So hopefully soon. That's like my number one most requested thing is NDI in and out in multicam. I really want that myself, so I'm 100% with you. Should we do 3 a.m.? Yeah, I mean, I'll just wake up a couple hours earlier. Could you post topics in the Facebook group and then bring the results into this show? That's a good question. Yeah, there's been a few shows we'll go through the Facebook group and just answer people's questions live. The tricky thing is that like most of the time the people that are asking the questions in the Facebook group are not in the live show. Thanks for that. Thanks for that subscription or follow, whatever that was. I really got to change that to something that makes more sense. But I like this idea. We should definitely at least maybe we can go through the topics in the Facebook group, answer them live, and then go back to the Facebook group and put a link to it. I like that. It's solid. Good idea. Let's see. Will you need to highlight a different Logitech product each show? We try and do that kind of. We are obviously using tons of Logitech products to make the show. And we do try on Thursdays when we do more of like the deep dives and the demos and stuff to really focus on different Logitech products. The thing is like we are just covering the Logitech for Creators products. So right there. So right now, the only Logitech Creators products are the blue microphones, the Lytra Glows, Mivo, obviously, and then there's StreamCam. So we could switch it up every single show, but it's not that many products yet. We're definitely working on a ton of new stuff that in the future it'll be great. We'll have so much stuff to talk about and so much stuff to test and push to its limits and all that stuff. But right now, I feel like I've told you guys all about these products multiple times. So I don't know. I mean, we're getting new people all the time though. That is correct. Multicam app does not currently have NDI, but it's definitely on our list of things to add. Let's see. SRT protocol in my request for the multicam app. I think, yeah, I think you were asking about this previously, right? The SRT protocol. I remember because it was the first time that I'd heard of that. Jank saying the tricky thing also is this isn't just a Mivo show. Need a Logitech group / page. Yeah, that's actually a very valid point. And that goes into a lot of the times we have asked you guys about Discord and whether you guys would like to have a Discord channel or something like that. And we have been looking into it. So it is possible in the future that we'll have something like that. But I do know that Streamlabs has a huge Discord. And so if you're looking to kind of chat it up with other people that have similar gear and passions, then I would definitely check that out. I'll say giveaways. I have plenty of nonprofits that could use profit from some free gear. Yeah, we need to do more giveaways. I totally agree. I'm always trying to set up giveaways, but obviously they have to be like very structured. We have to like reserve those items that we're giving away, all that stuff. And then we have limitations on like where we can send it and stuff. So there's a lot of red tape for giveaways, but I totally agree we should do more. 100%. Nasi saying a Discord channel sounds amazing. Yes, please. We're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah, I've gotten more and more into Discord lately. I think Discord is really, really solid. I probably spend half of my time on Discord and half on Reddit, just reading what everybody's up to and the different various tech that they're going and using. But yeah, I don't know. Do you spend more time on Discord, Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch? Where do you spend the majority of your time consuming creator content? Oh, I guess, and there's Instagram and TikTok, although I'm not really on either one. I think YouTube is probably the best creator ecosystem. Like that's where everybody is making the most money, the probably the highest quality content. Either or both. Where do you spend your time to consume and where do you spend it creating? More time on YouTube and Twitch. It's interesting because I do a lot of time on both YouTube and Twitch, and it influences you in a very different way, right? Like if you watch a lot of Twitch and you're a streamer, then you're very used to having something else as being like the main focus of your content, right? And then on YouTube, you're creating content where you're the main focus. So on Twitch, you see most of people, they're like watching other videos, they're playing games, they're reacting to content. You know, it's all kind of based on other content and they're less of the focus. And then on YouTube, it's 100% of the focus is on the creator. But if you're doing both and you're watching a lot of YouTube and you're still a streamer on Twitch, then your content ends up being better on Twitch because you're like learning about retention from YouTube. You're learning about like, you know, how people actually consume content because a lot of people don't just consume content on Twitch. Twitch is just, they're really, really bad at discovery. And so people like will watch for 15 minutes and then move on. Let's see. Rarely consume, always creating. That's probably a good way to go because that just lets you be more original with your content, which I think is always a challenge. So much of YouTube is like creating Mr. Beast videos on non-Mr. Beast accounts. I've been trying to convince the baseball organization to install permanent cameras at each fields. Can you remotely turn on a Mivo start? Uh, Yes, but you can't remotely start a stream. So that's kind of the issue with permanent installs with the Mivo. Plus, it also would have to be weatherproofed. Like you couldn't have a Mivo that's permanently installed and just like connected to a fence somewhere. Because if it rains, the Mivo is not weatherproof, so it will get damaged. I spend most of my time on YouTube and Instagram. That's also where I create content too. That's smart. If you're creating content on YouTube and Instagram, consuming YouTube and Instagram content is a good way to figure out what works and what doesn't. Let's see. RTMP isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's the de facto standard for security cameras. Yeah, that is very true. I don't know if I would use the Mivo as a security camera. That being said, I kind of have in the past, so you can do it. It's just not ideal, I guess. Two platforms or two very different audiences. Very true. Very, very true. It's interesting how like the platform dictates the content now more than ever. You know? Like if you go on TikTok, you expect to see dancing. If you go on Instagram, you expect to see a lot of food. If you go on Twitch, you expect to see a lot of gaming. Like people are not using these services as like a way to distribute original content. They're using the service as a way to decide what kind of content they're making, which is kind of weird. Um, let's see. Cool. Looks like people are helping each other out. Very nice. Let's see. Thinking outside of the box, but how about your support team respond to cases on a live show and share the solutions? I don't know. I think the issue with that is that they would need permission from everybody. Like, tickets are not something that are made public typically. So maybe we can do something like if we're seeing a bunch of support tickets on a certain topic, then we can like cover it on the show. But I think in terms of just solving tickets live, I think it's a little dicey. Darren is obviously a YouTuber. I mean, it's where all the action is, man. So it's very smart. Um, when I want to learn something, how to use something or do something, I go over to YouTube and search. I do the same. I think everybody does the same. I mean, like I use Google less now than I use YouTube to find answers. Let's see. Right? I mean, I spend a lot of time thinking about the creator ecosystem. So it's like constantly in my head. Let's see. Yeah. There may be some privacy concerns. It's true. If you're asking a question that is in chat, then yeah, for sure. But if you're asking a question in a ticket, then less so. Yeah. Different teams, different products, and also just so many, right? There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Cool. Let's see. So, kind of reached close to the end. So, real quick before we answer the last question, so if you have any questions that you want to ask that you haven't asked yet, there's only a few minutes left. So, put those questions in chat. And while you do that, I'm going to remind everybody that wasn't here in the beginning that we have two shows twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. How was that transition, man? That was smooth. Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. YouTube.com/Logitech for creators, Twitch.tv/Logitech C, and Facebook.com/Mivo camera. Definitely check out all the shows. You can find all the shows on YouTube right after they're live. So if you weren't able to make it because you were working or doing something else productive, don't worry. It's always on YouTube. And of course, as always, twitch.tv/Logitech C is going to be the best way to consume the stream. We've got the user test program. If you haven't joined this already, you really should. There are so many benefits and literally no downsides. So take a picture of the QR code, copy down the link, or just look in the description of any of our YouTube videos of Equip Live on youtube.com/Logitech for creators. You can find the link, and then we can hook you up with some unreleased products, check out some new packaging we're working on, software, firmware, all these things related to all the current products that are out from Logitech for creators and ones that are coming out that nobody else has seen yet. So definitely worth doing, especially if you're a techie. And then, of course, we've got Host React. So far, these have been so much fun. We've had Cowley Storm Chasers, we've had Chris, and we've got, I think, 2 or 3 more submissions to go through. So if you haven't already submitted your content and your setup to Host React, definitely worth doing, especially if you want to grow your community. We've been able to tweet it out from the various Logitech accounts about your content, and that has helped grow some of the people that have already been on Host React. And hopefully we can do the same for you. So definitely send an email to equiplive@logitech.com with the subject Host React, and we'll get you in a show very, very soon. Sweet. All right, let's see what these last. I see a lot of emojis. That's always good. It means people are on Twitch. Let's see. Gotta love auto mod. Mods, we need more mods probably. Sometimes things can get kind of crazy. Let's see. Darren saying, don't have them solve a live ticket, but make them available for questions that would normally have been raised as a ticket. Someone can that listen to a question and formulate an actual answer. Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good idea to source questions from around our ecosystem because unfortunately, we have people that are asking questions on Twitter, asking them on Reddit, in tickets, in the live show, Facebook groups, all that stuff. So, like, they're everywhere. So, I think it's a good idea that we should pull in questions from other sources. Cool. It would be interesting thinking of all the platforms and what type of media is available. For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we need some more mods, really. Like, because I think when things are going really smoothly, there's a lot of questions, and so mods are useful to kind of sift through those questions. And then when we don't have a lot of people and we have people that like come in and do spam and whatnot, then we just need mods to clean it up so we can get to the real questions. Let's see. Lots of back and forth. WWW. I'm gonna assume that is W for will, and it's just winning. Maybe, I don't know. Cool. Let's see. The way I can't submit mine. The way I'm working with my Mivos is unsupported for the most part. That's interesting. I'm very curious because we do try and support all kinds of content creation. The point is that you're using the right technology. You know, we don't want to filter your content. You can make content however you want, as long as you're using the right technology. Let's see. It's true. Yeah. Sometimes we have questions that are a very frustrated paying customer. In fact, most of the time, our questions that are about the technology are from people that are having challenges with the technology. So I think it's great if you're coming to the show to ask a question to get help with something you're having trouble with. That is the goal of the show, right? We're trying to solve as many problems as we can in the shortest amount of time. Let's see. How can I use the Mivo for mobile streaming to StreamYard? I don't know if StreamYard accepts RTMP input, but Melon does. So if you want this kind of stuff that you can do in StreamYard, first off, Melon can do all of that stuff and more. But you can also RTMP into Melon. And so, like, a lot of people are using Vimeo Premium to stream to Vimeo and stream to multiple destinations. You can actually RTMP directly to Melon at home and have that, it can be edited and live edited by somebody. It can be sent out to multiple destinations. You can source all the chat. Lots of really cool things. We'll have to do a demo on that in the future. Another thing that I want to demo, and I've tried this out and it works, and it's kind of pointless but really cool, is you can actually control your Melon stream uh, in VR. So if you have like a Quest 2, or anything like that, you can go to the Melon website and switch cameras in VR just by like going like that. It's pretty wild, but kind of overkill, but fun. StreamYard is an RTMP provider. Okay, cool. So you can stream to StreamYard via RTMP. Super easy. Let's see. Nice. I'm off to Melon. You just made it happen. Nice. I like to hear that, man. That's great. Thank you, Les. Thank you, everybody. It looks like we've come down to the wire. It's time to wind it down. If you want to check out Thursday's show, I'm not sure what my demo is going to be, but I know that I've talked to you guys a lot about Streamlabs desktop and the Mivo. So we might do some kind of setup where we're really just trying to break my computer live because I think you guys like doing that the most. So definitely tune in on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, maybe we'll do a demo soon of me controlling this stream in VR just because no one else has done it. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. And I will see you on Thursday. If you have any questions, feel free to go to help.mivo.com if they're Mivo related. And if you want to just save them for Thursday's show, that's cool as well. All right, everybody, have a great week, and I'll see you then. See ya.